Last time, on Wandering Monster, The Price of Ash, our intemperate explorers dove into the terrible cursed temple on the island of Dreadwater in search of their animal companions. The dead did not take this incursion lightly, and our brave crew was beset on all sides by skeletal cultists. While Fastinus waited at the mouth of the temple, a terrible battle was waged, one that sadly led to the gory death of Death Turtle. Meanwhile, Burnout discovered Violent K and Steamboat Willie on the verge of being sacrificed to some horrifying deep-sea monster and an ore of incredible power. It was a choice between power and pets that tore him apart, but in the end, like Samus, he saved the animals, and the surviving members of the crew made their escape off the island. Where can they head next? What is the will of Basatan? Who will Kevin play next? Find out this and more on Wandering Monster. Roll Initiative!
So, a lot of you have just fled this temple. As you are running out of this, you, of course, a lot of things are happening all at once. Burnout, your monkey, you have successfully reunited, and he is in the thralls of something, and he is just furiously gnawing and chewing your ear off, clawing your face and giving you matching scars. And it's just like, if it wasn't for the weird deadening silence of this place, you would know that he would be just absolutely screaming in your face. Over a few agonizing moments as he's tearing into your flesh, you can see the kind of madness fleeing him as the ash begins to work out of his system. You two also start to feel that initial come down and withdrawal from ash as the colors come back into normal focus. You feel your heart rate beginning to go back to baseline. And all of you together get to the edge of the plaza and back into the safety of the jungle. You can feel the piercing stares of all the skeletons standing in the doorway of the temple, they themselves not daring to leave the temple, but you feel their ire just bore into you until you're out of sight. Carving back through the jungle, you manage to avoid all manner of terrible perils, from venomous vipers to that large crocodile which seems to be following you around ominously, may or may not be having a ticking sound coming from its innards. But you're able to get back to the dinghy, being guided by the light of Glowbone's luminosity. You can see that the weather is surprisingly fair. In the northwest from here, you can see there is a pretty nasty storm brewing, but judging by the winds, it's something that's going to go and sweep far away from you, leaving you nothing but a very much of a cool morning. So as you climb back in your dinghy to try to kind of get your bearings, this island itself really hasn't been a very successful voyage for you. You were guided here by Basatan to get something. Maybe it was something in the temple, maybe something in the island, but you have all at least gained a lot of experience through this and have been able to get better, helping to define and build out your attributes and skills. You definitely are still getting this feeling of dread, as if you're much more cognizant that the grains of sand are ever dwindling in the hourglass, and that the end times are getting nearer, and that you have a narrowing window until the apocalypse happens and you have to advance Basatan's goals by then, or your soul will be forfeit. It is when you are sitting here in your dinghy figuring out what it is that you need to go next, that perhaps maybe it's Basatan giving you another sign, or maybe it's a coincidence, but you see far at the edge of your vision towards the horizon southwest of here, there is something bobbing in the water. Since I don't think does anyone have a spyglass? I feel like no one in the party did.
No, we covered that once.
Wanted to make sure. From a distance, it looks like some bit of jetsam or flotsam.
I say we head towards it. That could be something valuable. And now that ash isn't worth as much, maybe it's like, I don't know, cocaine or something, worth actual money.
And now that I'm dual wielding pistols, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Can I cast my rod at it, since I don't think I'm ever gonna have an actual fishing reason to use my fishing
Ooh.
rod?
Yeah,
Can I
do
try
that.
to hook it and reel it back in?
It is too far to use your fishing line. However, I don't believe any of you have had a chance to eat since you've left Bastion. So this could be an opportunity to actually do some good old fishing while you take your dinghy out to figure out what this object is.
Oh boy, the fishing minigame we've already hoped for. Cool. What do I have to
I
roll?
gotta tell you, I was
John
this
has.
close.
Yeah.
I was this close to using Fiskborg from Adam Vass to roll my character for this game. I was so excited, and then I was like, I'm not going to force everyone to watch John Baltisberger and now I'm going fishing, y'all.
You did
For 4 hours.
I rolled a 16 for fishing.
Roll me a d6.
Oh, okay. D6 for fishing. That's a 1.
So you successfully get one fish hooked, but it is a large thing. When you pull this out of the water, you see that this fish is probably like a good 5 to 8 pound fish. It has silvery scales on one side, and oddly enough, on the other side, they're kind of bronze. It gives a very confusing pattern as it goes through the water to help deflect predators, but that just means that one side of its meat is a little bit tastier than the other, but still a good shore breakfast. As you're out bobbing there fishing for other fish, you see that it's not just one thing in the water. You see that it looks like there are a couple of crates. There's a couple of small casks bobbing in the water, charred bits of wood, and then a very large barrel that's bobbing up and down in the water. And there is something, again, hard to see what it is from this distance, sticking out the top that looks maybe like the ass of a sheep, or like a big fluffy white things kind of sticking out.
Ass of a sheep. You had me at ass of a sheep. Let's go get that. Let's go get that lovely critter.
So Glowbones mans the oars and begins to row the dinghy over towards all this flotsam and jetsam. Are you beelining towards that large barrel, or are you wanting to investigate any of these other crates along the way?
I would assume we'd want to investigate everything, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that you come across is what looks to be a box of tea. It is pretty waterlogged from the outside, but maybe the contents might be salvageable. Other things, one of the boxes is very light, like it had a lot of paper in it. It's definitely full of water, so you'll really need to drain it to see if anything might be in it. Another thing that looks like it was full of hardtack, which is now squish tack at this point, or just squishy and tacky. And some boxes of pens and quills and ink, which has been fouled by salt water. And when you start getting over to this barrel, you see that it's not so much a sheep as it is a kind of a powdered wig that has gotten a little bit saltwater logged. It looks like there is a person kind of bobbing in and out within the barrel.
Throw him back. That's one more mouth to feed. I only caught the one fish, you see.
Do you?
I don't know. Let's at least find out who it is before we just abandon them to the open ocean.
All right, but if this is a magic fish, I'm not letting that person have any wishes.
Fair enough. That's a deal.
Well, Oliver, Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everybody. Yeah, first people I've seen in quite some time. You'll notice that Oliver does have the waterlogged powder wig. He's kind of just adjusting it on his head, kind of trying to make sure that it's,
And Minnow
just lined up
squats
properly.
out the side as you do that, along with a little burst of salt water.
Mm.
You said a minnow?
Well, Minnow.
Okay, I mean, he's gonna pop that in his mouth. You will notice that old Oliver himself is ridiculously good looking, like just so good looking. Just people are just jealous, just absolutely.
I don't like
He's-
his face. It's too
Are
smooth
you just playing
and
yourself,
supple.
I am explaining myself.
No,
I-
playing yourself.
I am
I'm
actually
calling you
playing
handsome,
myself.
damn it.
Aw, you're sweet because it's true.
Here
No,
at Longmont, we're a family.
Yeah, and you'll notice that off to the, he's kind of holding off to the side this large whaling harpoon as well that he's trying to stab at whatever's floating by. He's been out here for quite a while. You can tell he's a little
Sunbaked.
sunbaked and waterlogged. Yeah, so is there room on your kind of eyeballs the ship vessel?
No.
Yeah, for sure. A, you're armed and can therefore help us. And B, I can feed that pretty mouth and take care of your waterlogged clothing. No problem.
Hold on. I mean, don't just accept whatever scallywag comes beside the ship. Sir, before we answer your question, I must know where your loyalties lie vis-a-vis the divine.
Well, I don't particularly have any belief system that I've
Now, I
Personally,
gotta-
Oh God!
yeah,
I shout as I reach under a chin and pull out a crab.
okay, I gotta say, I live in Utah. I've lived around missionaries and missionaries to be my whole life. And answering that question, like, where do your loyalties lie vis-a-vis the divine, with I don't have a particular belief system, is like throwing a steak at a lion. It's just like, oh, you don't? Well, have you ever wondered this or that, or why there's a giant crab at the bottom of the cove? Let me tell you.
And if not, we can
yeah.
just shoot him and take his gun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's no let me tell you about. There is only behold the form of God.
well, at this point, it's either listen to you in your small crustacean or stay in this barrel. So,
That is
tell me-
accurate, sir. Those are your choices.
well, let's talk crab there.
Praise Basatan and welcome aboard.
Yeah, praise bastard God. What?
Basatan.
He can't even say it right. He can't say it right. You're letting him on the boat.
Neither can you.
That's because I have a speech impediment. Can't you tell this is a Spanish accent, as my character sheet says, that I overlooked in the first game session and have stuck with this whole time?
Well, my friend, you're doing great.
Thank you.
Anyways, my toes are really pruny. I've been in this bucket for far too long. Is there any way I can get up on that boat and we can talk crab?
Oh, his toes are
Yeah.
gonna stink. I don't like him.
No.
Oh, come on. We've all spent time in the bucket.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
we have. Or the rum cask.
or the rum
yeah.
cast.
Yeah.
Rum cask.
Get your pickled ass up here.
And I will get my handsome pickled ass into the dinghy.
All right. So,
Where are we headed,
Wither-
everybody?
wither the dinghy, wither the HMS Pantaloon, which I just decided. No, it's
Darth
Darth
Onslaught.
Darth
Yeah, it's Darth
Onslaught.
Onslaught.
Yeah.
There you go.
Once again, for our listeners and viewers, named after John's cock, which he
Yeah.
named himself.
In high school.
Imagine that. Imagine
high
that was
school's
something he
too
came up with all
old.
by himself.
Too old. old. High school's too old for that.
That seems appropriate. If it's early high school. I mean,
The
No,
important
no.
question is,
Sorry, did I say high school? I meant senior year in college.
Oh,
oh,
he meant when we
I-
first started this adventure.
the question is if you've told your urologist this and if it's officially documented in your
My
medical notes.
urologist doesn't like jokes. It turns out, not a
Behold
fan.
Darth Onslaught.
What
in
an
all
Not a
its
fan of my
glory.
humor.
What an unfortunate
unfortunately.
trait in a doctor to not have a
Agreed.
sense of humor.
Hey, when I went to get my colonoscopy over the Christmas break, I had made and waterproofed a holiday card, and I slipped between my
it was
posterior.
amazing.
It was
yeah.
one of the funniest things I've
Oh,
legit ever seen.
Oh,
I
yeah,
missed-
same.
did the doctor ever make a comment on that,
Oh,
or
it was
was,
the first thing when it came anesthesia. Yeah,
Did they frame it?
I
I
hope
bet.
because
It was filled with like so many ass puns. It was
it's
great.
delightful?
It was
Talked
beautiful.
about I didn't mean to be cheeky, but blah blah blah.
you can't give me the stink eye because by the time you're reading this, I'll be under.
Pardon me if I make an ass of myself.
You know it. You know it.
All
So-
right.
The dinghy is quite stuffed at this point because dinghies are small ships, so you're all pretty tightly packed together in this ship. So one of your course of actions might be to upgrade your ship at some point, unless you really like having this small sailless row-powered ship.
Do we get to steal the Spanish Inquisition ship now?
Well, we could, but don't we have people working on a sloop back at the cove or whatever?
That was
They're all
before
dead
you
now.
nuked the entire
Oh,
island.
yeah.
with a
Oh, right.
lethal amount
Okay,
of
okay.
ash.
hang on.
Which means we
First
don't
of
have to pay
all-
for it.
First of all, you keep saying you nuked the island, you guys nuked the island. It was a unilateral decision by John that he neither sought consent nor counsel for. He just
Half the
straight up-
player characters weren't even in the game at that point. Like I believe your character was dead.
I want to
Kevin's
remind
character
you.
was dead.
I mean, are we
Bridget
always
wasn't
going to?
even
Are we
here.
just going to constantly relitigate every time that John is nuked
First of all, please speak to my lawyer, Bridget. Second of all, if you recall, if we play back the tapes, you'll see that I said, "Hey, I'm going to do this. Is everyone cool with that?" And you all said yes. Third of all,
don't think so.
I'm the priest of Basaton. I speak with his voice, and I found these golden plates underground that said I should.
Well, that checks out. You can't disprove that.
Mhm.
At
Yeah.
the Hill Kimura, yeah.
You can't see them though; only I can read them.
Right. Through your
That's
hat with
that's
magic
fair.
rocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Come on, Ian.
All right. I think we're sticking with the dinghy for now. It sounds like.
Until we
Uh,
can steal a better ship.
Yeah.
Or yeah. So Spaniards? Is that what we're doing?
The nearest place that you could possibly get ships would be heading back to Ralph's Spite and seeing if there's a ship you could purchase and or commandeer, or you could see if you want to do the long, treacherous, perilous road to like Tortuga, that is another option, or going up the Fingerbone Islands and seeing if you can find anything near the Boneyard or other areas.
I was really interested in going to the Fingerbone Islands kind of anyway.
Yeah.
That's just basically the archipelago that you've been a part of. It's an arc, and basically, like the base of the Fingerbone would be where Bastion and Long Watch is, and the Boneyards makes the main shaft of the Fingerbone, leading up to Flamingo Key and the very tip of the finger being Crown Isle.
Well, let's head toward uncharted territory in the finger. Then let's head towards Flamingo Key next, which is a great name for a key, by the way.
Mhm.
Yeah, agreed.
Which itself is a great term for a tiny island. So
On the way to that is at the northwest section of the Fingerbone Islands, and you are coming from Dreadwater. You would be passing along the boneyards. You could take the long ways and kind of go counterclockwise along, or you can kind of cut back towards Bastion and go along the underside. Those are both routes that you can go.
Well, Boneyards was mentioned as one place we might be able to find a ship, and I think we'd want to keep our eyes peeled the whole time because I hate to break it to you, but we're not buying a ship. Like we're just gonna take that ship from somebody. So let's see what we can.
I'm ride or die on this dinghy. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do this.
I mean,
I'm sort of at the disposal of everybody. Thanks for getting me out of that barrel.
does
Sure.
Basseton have a suggestion? Does our priest want to pray to our
Well,
our
it has
crabby
to be a yes or
underlord?
no question is the trick. So it helps to have, I don't know.
You're muted.
Me?
No,
No,
John.
John is sorry.
John is following the tradition.
Ah,
Just keeping you guys on your
John's
toes.
on mute.
So, but Fastinus kind of like scoot over. And he turns the crab over, and you see on its belly there is a an arrow drawn.
Are we playing
And-
Spin the Crab?
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
On the space that Fastinus has cleared off, you see he has at some point carved the words yes and no on opposite sides. He brings the crab up to his lips. All right, I need you to commune with the almighty Baltisberger and give us guidance. He puts the crab on its back on the seat. Should we head to the boneyard and steal us a new ship? And he puts his finger on the pincher and kind of gives it a little spin. Crabs love that, by the way. Crabs think that's super cool.
Truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting because that's almost like an opinion in a way, but you can still get and so you're going to get an opinion. The crab will spin, and all signs, I guess, would indicate to yes.
All right.
I gently lift the crab, give it the tiniest smooch, and then and then tuck it under my neck fold.
It's not
Which is
letting
its
go of
go.
your lips.
All right.
That's fine. I mean, they're stretchy lips, so you can.
Yeah, I let him hang there for my juicy lip.
Yeah.
His other claw, snip,
Hmm.
Bottom lip or top?
one on each.
Oh no! Oh no!
See, now the crab is gonna do your voice and make fun of you, like, I'm Fastinus, and I said that we should.
True.
Very well.
The crab, after it hangs there for a bit, and it's almost like it's pulling itself up to stare in your eyes with its beady eyes, as if it seems to know something greater. It's before it releases itself from your lips, it seems to also just look back at the horizon to the southwest a bit, and then look at you. And if a crab could make a shrug, you're pretty sure it's a shrug, maybe a little sigh, but then it falls back into your pouch and cozies back up.
Was that the direction we were coming from after we left the jungle island?
No, your jungle island's to the southeast, relative to where you're going for the Fingerbone Island. Or excuse me, the Boneyards, which is the main part of the Fingerbone Key.
So what's to the southwest?
I mean, if you're drawing a line to, as like the crow flies, it would be everything from Tortuga to like the territory of the French Indies to Jamaica.
So this is basically like Bosseton's equivalent of Like, I don't give a shit. What are you asking me for?
Well, the knowledge of crabs extends far beyond mortal kin, as all things were crab and all things shall be crab.
That is true. That's not even like
That's
Fact.
just
ominous.
science.
That's just a fact.
Yeah. Ben Shapiro would even say facts.
So once you start rowing your ship to the northeast, heading towards the Fingerbone Island, you can see, again, to the northeast from here, there's like a storm brewing. And if you had a sail, it would probably help steer and push you a little faster. But even still, the little currents that are beginning to build as the storm moves is helping to push you a little faster in the direction of the Fingerbone Island, or excuse me, the Boneyard. And the Boneyards is named as such because it was one of the largest pleasure islands in the Fingerbone Islands where pirates
I
to rest their
was
bones.
hoping it was something like that.
So it was once a home of lush jungles teeming with exotic fruit to help with scurvy, but a lot of the jungles had been cleared back to make way for the sprawling boardwalk town and harbor. That's more on the west side of the island. You're approaching from the east, but once you dock on the east side, it would just be a small jaunt through the jungle to where the pleasure, all of the brothels and all the saloons are. And surely with the extensive boardwalk, you could find yourself a ship, especially with the things that you have picked up along the way and pooling your resources. As you are going along, I would like somebody to roll me a d20 and a d6.
I've got a D20, or her Crankle. Someone else already rolled. Okay.
I rolled both, but if someone else wants to roll, they can. But I can also give you my results.
You already rolled.
My D20 was an 18. The D6 was a 2.
Okay. As you are going along, actually, while I'm pulling this up, so Glowbones gets the first section of rowing, and so he rows for the first about hour's worth, which is pretty exhausting. Who's going to take over the second round of rowing?
If you don't mind, since you guys basically saved my beautiful pickled ass out there, do you mind if I take over the rowing?
Oh, no one's gonna fight you on that, bro.
I don't trust this cardinal sense of direction.
You point the way, I'll go there. I used to be the first mate of the old Hellspire.
Yeah, before
anybody
they
hear
got you
that?
lost in the middle of the strip.
Let's hope that doesn't happen again. You can watch me. I'm not going to go anywhere.
I feel like Paschke's irrational prejudice is going to be a real hindrance.
Charles, your mic.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Now I'm louder.
As you are piloting the ship, since you are, Jude, you are very much, Burnout, you're very much in tune with fishing as you're fishing. You notice off to your port side, there is a dark shape moving in the water, far enough to the side where you can easily avoid it, or you could choose to engage. It is definitely deeper under the water, and it is a size of maybe, if it was on land, about a Labrador dog size.
Okay. So Labradors are big, but not the biggest.
There's so many of us. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I mean, if you're worried about the line snapping or whatever, but
I'll cast my line out towards it and kind of do like a tick, 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 tick. Reel it down, reel it down, reel it. Tick, tick,
Okay.
tick, tick. Reel it down, reel it down.
So, as you put your line out, it seizes the line and it begins to pull. It's not a sudden jerk like when you pull most fish and they know you're caught. It just seems to be very slowly reeling itself, like it's pulling yourself towards the ship. And it's still under the water, so all you see is a dark shape, but you don't see a fin crest the water.
Is the shape getting bigger?
Slightly. And it seems to be getting wider at one end.
I kind of nudge someone other than the new guy, and it's like, oh, what do we think about that? Should I keep going, or should
Yeah,
we?
I tell him, hell yeah, I can't wait to see its face.
All right.
Hearing this and the new guy thing, I'm gonna pull out my spyglass and look, and then not tell anybody.
Oh, look at the new
Especially
guy
him.
with the spyglass over there. Someone's
Jealous
catching
much?
it. No, no, not jealous at all. I have a fishing rod.
Nice pull you got there.
Look,
Uh.
we all bring a little something. We all make stone soup together is the moral of the book. So let's.
Yeah, I'm
let's
pretty sure that's what they meant was this scenario right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got
Okay,
a
so-
spyglass. I've got some lettuce, Soon we have stone soup.
All right, so you're continuing to pull in this thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you are looking at this through your spyglass, you are being able to get like a clearer picture of its spread,
Mhm.
and you're noticing that it must be like some type of cephalopod, like it's some type of squid.
I'm going to quietly put my spyglass away, grab both oars, and start rowing like I've never rowed before away from this thing.
Are
Hard
you?
and just like exerting any amount of energy I possibly can to get.
Look at him.
the
Not
fuck away
not
from
an
it.
ounce of Nemo in him. Not a hint.
The squid is still pulling on the wire or on the line, and it's pulling itself closer to the ship. Are you still holding on to your fishing line and pulling it in, Burnout?
I mean, if you've ever been fishing, once you have it on the line, that
Yeah.
adrenaline, that
Yep.
excitement,
Yep.
like
Okay.
until the line snaps, yes. If anything, I've set the hook.
Yeah.
Just
So, a couple of things kind of happen in a very quick series of events. The first thing is the shape crests the water, and it is a squid. It looks at you. Large bulbous eyes come up from the water, and they look at you. And they're sad. They're just these
Oh.
deep, pitiful eyes. It's you could say it's watery because it just came out of the water, but it almost looks like it's just crying, like pleading.
Let go of the damn squid, man.
Oh, the other thing you notice is that it has its tentacles wrapped along the line and is pulling itself. You can see the hook hanging off the other end.
Oh.
And then you see its tentacles spread out, and you hear this sound, and ink sprays all over your dinghy. I need all of you to test agility for me. And
Oh,
you're going
man.
to have -2 since you're packed into your ship like sardines.
You're gonna make me a less trusting person, SerVaas.
I said nothing that would indicate this was a good idea.
Well,
I
guess
tried
what?
to get away.
Guess what? I damn near nat 19'd, but 18. I well, yeah.
Okay.
I don't even get a drop on me.
All
dirty
right,
20.
Esther or Spike?
A 9.
A 9. What about you, Fluff Bucket?
That was a 15.
Okay.
What was
Yeah.
his name?
No one bothered to ask, so don't worry about it.
This new guy. That's your name. You're the newest one. You seem to be a guy, not trying to really put too much on. Look, that's your name.
I just have a. You know what? Not even Bossaton. I have a yes no question for our GM. Did you say his name was Fuck Bucket?
I'll let him explain that to you later. Fastinus, what did you roll? You're on mute, man.
John, you're on mute.
I think the two Charleses rolled well enough for all of us that you don't really need my result.
Okay,
It's cool.
so Fastinus and Spike, you are just kind of broadsided by this ink. This ink just splatters across your face, and it just that stink of the brine of just rotten plant matter. It's just foul by itself, but as it begins to seep into your skin, you feel that sadness of that squid, that just despair begin to just permeate into your flesh. I would like you to roll me 2d6 and add your spirit to it.
Okay.
What a
What the fuck
terrible
is spirit?
evolutionary tactic.
Spirit is one of your stats.
No.
Alright. Mine's -2. So
Yeah.
I kept seeing spirit in the rule book, but there's no spirit on the goddamn character sheet from Lintharian.
It's
got
right under
mine.
toughness. Did you get an old character sheet?
I mean, I
Yes,
got it off their site.
Oh, we've got spirit. Oh, yes, we do.
And that's, I offered to make you a character.
I like making my own characters.
He's got no spirit.
So you,
No spirit
so
squad.
you have the spirit-based class, and you haven't been using. Okay, we'll figure that in
Again.
post-production.
Pirate Borg, official Pirate Borg character sheet.
There was a version 1 and version 2. You must have used version 1.
I used whatever was linked on their website.
We'll
Not
cut
what I
all
put in
this.
the
We'll
drive.
cut all of this out
Yeah.
of what goes out.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's how the sausage is made. All right.
Yeah.
So, what did you get, Spike?
I got a 9 because it was 11 -2.
Okay. So you are filled with melancholy. All you want to do is just stare out at the seas and just, it's like a strong sense of ennui. Like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you crammed in this dinghy? Like, what the hell is your purpose? Do you have a purpose?
And what am I even doing here?
And Fastinus, give me your raw 2d6 then.
I rolled a 9, but I do remember that I have a +2 to presence to the
Oh.
roll for spirit. I mean,
Okay. Then
I applied it to presence because I assumed they had fucked up.
you are feeling right as rain and are unaffected by the ink, other than the fact that it's kind of stained your goatee that you have just grown out, but at least has stained it very black to help with your kind of demonic aspect that you are exhibiting.
You just got a free. What is that? I don't even know what the facial hair stuff is called. Just for men.
Just
yeah.
for men.
Yeah.
So
You just got a free
natural.
just for men treatment.
And you look fantastic.
The squid looks at you and looks particularly sad at Burnout. It burbles a bubble and lets go of a line and dashes underneath the water.
We have just a few announcements real quick. Madness Heart Press's open submission call is still open. You can go to madnessheart.press/submissions to find out more. Right now on Kickstarter, we have a campaign featuring a new game from John Baltisberger and Simone Tometa called Overgrowth. It features deranged nature wizards taking on terrifying sentient corporate pollution. Search for Overgrowth on Kickstarter or check the show notes to back now. Now back to the action.
Wow. It just. I don't even know what it was trying to accomplish by doing that.
Maybe it was into me. I have a way with you
That's how
know,
depression squids flirt. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got him up here, got excited, blew its load all over the place.
Went past flirting then. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I had to work my shaft quite a bit. Seems like a good time to me. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I'm down with it. That's cool.
anyone have a cigarette? No, those aren't invented yet. Tavern pipe? Anyone have a tavern pipe?
I think that like I'm pretty sure people were rolling cigarettes back then, weren't they? Golden age of piracy? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into it.
Cigarette machines were not invented yet. That did not come until the
No,
1900s.
right.
But yeah, like
But people
hand-rolled
rolled
cigarettes.
their own. Yeah. I think that goes back to tobacco, you know.
Tobacco's originally cigars. Behind the Bastards actually did a whole thing on the history of cigarettes.
Fascinating.
So yeah.
The
A cigarette is just a mini cigar, though. So
No, it is not. As a tobacco.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Paschke, the word cigarette, small cigar. That's literally what the goddamn word means.
Etymologically speaking, yes.
Etymologically, I will give you an actual like this is one thing, this is another thing. They are
Yeah.
not the
No, I'm
same
not talking
thing.
about that. I'm talking about the origin, though. The origin of a cigarette was a small cigar.
The important thing is none of these are blunts, so I don't give a shit.
That's fair.
All right. So
All right. So John is wearing a beautiful facial, and we are bound for the boneyard, appropriately enough.
The squid, having jumped back down into the water, retracts out of sight. But as you are rowing, do you want to go by Oliver or do you want to go by your pirate nickname?
Let's go by the
nickname.
pirate nickname. That's
All
a
right,
fun
so
one.
Fluff Bucket, as you are slapping your oars and rowing the boat as fast as you can, like you still have that preternatural sense that you're being pursued by this squid, but you can't shake it. Some of you who are salts that have been for a long time, you might recognize that this is a squid of despair, and they pursue their prey by poisoning their thoughts with psychotropic ink, luring them to their doom and having them whittle themselves down before they move in for the kill.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's why we're getting away from it.
Do you guys ever think about dying?
Well, while I was in that bucket or that barrel there for a while, I thought I was going to.
That was one part of the Barbie movie that drew a genuine like hearty har har from me.
Same.
Was when she was doing the musical number and was like, "Those intrusive thoughts of death." I was like, "Yep." Yeah.
After you've made sufficient distance from the squid, like you, as you kind of rinse off some of that ink, you feel your thoughts go back to normal, and you know people do like you. You are respected, and you have purpose.
Yeah.
And,
I'm good enough. I'm smart enough.
gosh darn it, people like me.
Is there a way we can cheer Esther up? Does one of us have an item or a spell that can treat mood
Depression?
disorders? And if so, can they treat me next? Like
Yes.
IRL
Right.
Charles, like not my character who seems quite jolly. No, I ain't got shit.
After another couple of hours of rowing, you finally get to a landing place. You see that there is a small dock on the far side of the boneyards. It is just a couple of, like it's a very small wharf. You're able to tie your dinghy securely enough, and you see that there has been a passage that roughly cut into the jungle. Looks like people really haven't been here in a long while, and that it's very overgrown. But you know that the island itself is much more long than it is wide, so you really wouldn't be that long of a jaunt through the jungle. Who would like to take point as you begin to forge your way through?
I vote new guy.
No, I'll go first, not him. Don't let him go first. I have been going
Oh,
first.
allow me. I mean, I am the new guy. I'll take point. I mean, hey, big fella, hey.
All right, all right.
You
New
think
guy-
that one finger is gonna soothe me? It's
Fluff bucket, fluff bucket. I tell you what, we have a rule around here. Whoever has the most facial scars leads the party into the jungle, because that
Well,
way all
I
the
mean-
shit that's whipping into their face, like his grill's already fucked up. So
Yeah, and I am, fucking
You're
gorgeous. By all
beautiful,
means.
yeah.
Well, thank you. I mean,
I tell you what, you walk right in front of me. I'll just walk right behind you. Don't worry about it, and keep you safe.
this was from my monkey. This was from a skeleton taking a chunk out, or was it a zombie? My point is, I've seen some things. Takes out Saber, and we're going that way.
lead the way there, big fella.
Paschke immediately leads us into the ocean.
Yeah, but Burnout proved his point. I think what that point was, I myself don't know. As the person who's playing him, complete mystery. But yeah,
You just channel the characters, right?
yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
Well, as Burnout is beginning to hack a passage through the jungle overgrowth, Spike, do you want to use your tracking ability to help navigate some of
would
these
love
winding
to.
paths?
I would be delighted. I get to use my new ability.
Cool.
Ooh, yeah. All right. Ooh, okay, good. So let's see how this goes. It's a 16.
Okay, great. Roll me another d20, if you will.
That's a 1.
Okay, great. And lastly, a d6.
And that's a 6.
Okay. As you are hacking your way, you're able to find what looks to be like what the main path that was intended from here. There's enough of depression from feet over the year that no matter what plants have overgrown it, you can feel that rhythm, that tattoo steps that takes you in the direction of the main pleasure town. The thing that you're really kind of noticing at first, which is making you uncomfortable, is that even though no one has been out to the waterline, there have been some very random and chaotic, like, footsteps through this. Like, there have been almost people that have been running through the jungle overgrowth, not on a path, just somehow just running through all of this, seemingly nilly-willy. As you get closer to the town, and this may be about a half hour, 45-minute walk that you've been on so far through this very thick, dark undergrowth, you're starting to get this feeling of abject dread, like something isn't right. Like you're noticing more random tracks through the undergrowth, and you can see as you are getting towards the edge of this, well, first thing is not even seeing as much as smelling. You can smell burnt wood, smells like charred flesh, and other terrible, noxious odors. There's a loud thrashing not too far from you as something is in the undergrowth and that you're pretty sure has been stalking you. You haven't been able to notice it until now. It seems to be crawling maybe on all fours, where it's a predatory beast or something, but you have a feeling that it is getting ready to strike.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, hey guys, we got incoming.
Cool.
All right. So since you were tracking through the jungle, but then you also missed some of this, the signs of this thing that was kind of running tracks around you, I'm going to let you roll the initiative for the group, Spike.
Okay. And we're using a d20 for that still, right?
It's D6. So 1 through 3 is the creature, 4 through 6 is the party.
It's a 1. I'm not having great D6 rolls tonight.
Well, to be fair, this thing, when it pops out of the undergrowth, is basically almost covered in undergrowth. It once wore some type of shirt that maybe was once white, but now has been stained with all the different colors of mud and detritus of the undergrowth. Its flesh has been rotting from its face, and its eye sockets are just filled with pools of swarming ants. When it opens its mouth, just other terrible creatures pour out of it. And you notice that this thing is a zombie. It looks surprisingly similar to the feral creature that was in the lighthouse, how it has the same type of stance. It is a hunter meant to rip into things, and it charges out into you. The initiative that we are going, well, I'll have it do its turn, and then the initiative that we're going to do is going to be Fastinus, then it's going to be Hornswaggle, Burnout, Fluff Bucket, and Spike in the rear. It throws itself out at the nearest person, and that is going to be, well, oh, I forgot you have glow bones with you, so technically it is going after glow bones. This creature runs and it propels itself, pushing its back legs against a log and throwing itself with arms wide open towards glow bones. You see that its flesh has been pulled back from its finger bones from running through the undergrowth so long that it basically has bone-tipped fingers. Glow bones rolls and does not make his agility. He gets his foot caught on a vine and falls completely prone as the creature dives in and begins to shred at him.
R.I.P. Glowbones.
Well, he takes 2 points of damage as it's beginning to rip and shred at his chest. It rips through his apron and into his meat, and Glowbones just wails as he begins to try to push off this thing. So top of the initiative is going to be Fastinus.
Fast takes 3 or 4 big lumbering steps back to put the rest of the party between him and this monster.
Roll me a presence check as you do that.
That would be a 17.
So as you are backpedaling, you see that there is another zombie. This one very tall, very lean, very emaciated. It is shambling towards your direction. It looks like maybe one of its legs was broken at one point because it limps along, but its mouth is open and it seems to be chattering as it sees the sight of so much meat in front of it.
Oh, we have another one over here.
So as you're kind of tactfully retreating from the more feral of these creatures, you kind of find yourself another Hornswaggle.
Yeah, boy. Well, I should go to Glowbones' aid. I hope that someone else can tackle the skinny one. I'm going to rapier the beast as it's burying its toothy mouth in Glowbones' delicious fat. I'm just gonna run up and stick it in the back. So let me roll and see if I actually hit the damn thing. I do not. Yeah, that's well below the hit threshold. I rolled a nat 7, and I think it's a.
This thing is moving very frenetically, even as Glowbones is doing everything he can to swat and swipe this thing away. It is moving faster, pinning him down. No matter, even if you had rolled better, this thing would have probably moved out of the way as it kind of moves almost like a spider monkey. Although you know this was once a human at one point. Burnout.
Right. So Burnout pulls out his saber and goes towards I believe the first zombie would be closest to him, right?
That's correct. The one that where Glowbones is.
Yeah, he would go to Glowbones' aid and attack with, that is a 12 plus strength, right? Strength?
That would so you've just got that new ability, but that is based off of killing.
Successive kills, yeah.
So as you lash at this, normally that would be a solid hit, but this creature just moves out of the way. It actually just smacks.
Just real quick, I said 12 plus modifier, then I never stated modifier is 2, so it's 14 total.
That is actually the DR for this zombie.
God damn.
Nice.
So you are
Barely
able
got
to
it.
push back through its defenses, and as it kind of leans up to hit your saber away, you cut off 3 of its 5 fingers. Roll me some damage.
Awesome. 5.
It doesn't have any armor, as it is basically just wearing rotting rags. You cut deeply in it. You cut a large wedge of flesh from shoulder all the way to where its navel would have been, and a bunch of just crawling insects pour out of it. It makes this terrible wail sound, but as most of its flesh is rotted away, it is this sound of almost like a bagpipes being squeezed apart with lots of hissing, wheezing, and chunky sounds. So, Fluff Bucket, you've been untested in battle thus far. What type of skills do you bring to your new group?
Yeah,
Well-
we've got Fluff Bucket.
Well, aside from these,
whose idea was the name Fluff Bucket?
it was one that I randomly rolled up.
Okay.
I thought it was cute.
I
It
like
is
it.
cute. Yeah.
After hearing Fast say that there's one behind, I'm going to take the whaling harpoon I have, and I'm going to huck it right at the one that's right behind Fast.
The skinny one.
The skinny one, yeah.
Roll for me.
And with that, with the whaling harpoon, it is an agility test to throw it. That's a DR10. Does that go against what you got going on?
Well, you think? Well, why don't you roll that, and I'll tell you if it hits.
Well, I'm going to use a point of devil's luck because that was a 2. Boop, boop. And that is a 17.
No good
Plus
either
my
way?
agility is 21.
Fastinus, as you are standing there, there is this whistling sound as a harpoon just goes over your shoulder, past your ear, scaring your parrot, and it funks into the chest of the zombie behind there that you've been
Nice
backing up
shot.
towards, square in the solar plexus. There's a lot of crunching and cartilaginous tearing sounds. Roll me that damage.
That's a D8 damage. That is 4.
4.
Basadon be praised.
Do you pull the harpoon back, or does it stay in it? I didn't know if since that's your special weapon.
I'm going to.
Are you throwing it with like a rope on your arm, or are you throwing it just raw dog?
I
So,
didn't.
Allow me to illuminate you. A harpoon always has a rope on it.
But if he wants it tied to him, like
Oh yeah. I guess.
I would probably have it tied to me since it's my my favorite weapon.
So then, as you pull it back, you pull out most of its rib cage from about the solar plexus out. So all those like false ribs, everything else that was being held together with just dried, like jerky like flesh, comes yanked back with it. It seems exceptionally unsteady. You can see all the way through its spine, and it is kind of dangling just by like a thread. But it is still ambling towards Fastinus, undeterred, as if it is bound to try to get one mouthful before it returns back to the grave. Spike, you're seeing this. You see 2 zombies that have been really battered but are still hanging on by a thread, quite literally in one case. What do you do?
Well, I take out my gun. I'm going to use the regular one for this shot, and I'm going to fire at zombie number 2.
Okay. This thing, if you hit it just right, you're pretty sure you can return it to a pile of bones.
That's a 14.
That hits. When you fire at it, you blast out the base, like about mid-thoracic level of its spine, and the rest of that meat that was holding all the different of his spinal column together just disintegrates, and there is this kind of wonderful but also terrifying xylophone sound as it just collapses into a pile, and that sound of that report echoes through the whole jungle. All like the sorceress of the various insects and the calling of all the birds just stops, and all you can hear of the quietude is the sound of Glowbone screaming and the gnashing teeth of the creature on top of him. It is going to pull in and try to take a bite out of Glowbone's neck.
Poor bastard.
And you see his teeth just bite into the side of him. And he takes a huge mouthful of flesh, actually bites down through the jugular, and Glowbones is just shooting blood. Since there's so little flesh around the skull of this creature, it just shoots out of his his nasal cavity. It's just fountaining blood, and Glowbone screams. This becomes a terrible gurgle, and he begins to spasm.
Well, he died doing what he loved.
Glowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Spasming, shooting blood, and
Screaming. Yeah.
squealing. Yeah.
I never closed my tab out.
Joke's on him.
Fastinus, you are top of the initiative. The zombie that was just getting close to taking a bite out of you has been reduced to an IKEA kit of zombie.
Coast is clear. Fastinus.
I look around to see if there's any more danger
Give me a presence
to me
check.
immediately.
And get +4 to that since the report went through the entire jungle.
14.
All right, so looking around, everything is preternaturally still in the jungle, except again, just the sounds of Glowbone's death thralls. You can hear in the far distance where the town is, there's some vague noise. You might hear something that sounds like a bell ringing, or maybe it's metal crashing together. But from here, visual line, you don't see or hear anything that let you know if there is any other immediate threat than this last zombie.
Fair.
So your craven heart can take a nice sigh of relief.
Well, I kind of edge towards where Glowbones' corpse is being eaten, figuring I should probably get my machete back. I will point out, Fast doesn't have any offensive spells, abilities, or weapons.
Yeah.
Like I am not just being an asshole
No,
by
I get
avoiding
it.
combat.
If you collect the machete, then maybe we can talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of just edge towards where the zombie is eating Glowbones. Like, all right, now someone deal with this.
All right, Hornswaggle.
Well, I guess I'm just gonna deal with that. I am gonna rely once again on my trusty rapier. I'm gonna pronounce it differently each and every time. And this time I actually hit because that is right at 14 with my modifier.
That's correct.
So let's see. That's 1d8 in damage. So I just stick them right betwixt the shoulder blades, and let's see how much of that spine I can tear out and how many different esoteric elements of that spine Ian can name. Let's see. That's a 5.
With that, his head is pointed down as he is chewing through Glowbones, and you're able to get him right through like the awesome magnum, like the hole in the base of his skull, and you are able to swish his innards and just carve out the inside of his skull. And it collapses. You hear the last kind of gurgle sigh coming out of Glowbones, and he lays still.
Awesome Magnum is so awesome. I want to make that my
Awesome
username
Frangum. I have to. It's been
for
a long
now
time
on.
since
Like
I
Awesome
AMP.
Magnum, great bone. You know.
I think
Yeah.
that's Lucas's name actually.
Oh, is it?
Sorry, that's also Mangum.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say, Kevin, I'm happy that you're not playing Glowbones.
Yeah.
Me too.
We can just leave him to glow in the dark in the woods, and the
Does-
woodland critters shall.
Wait, are his bones still glowing?
Yeah.
his bones?
Ooh.
He
You think
just
they're gonna
Yeah.
stop glowing because he's dead?
I'm
If we
going to
just take
take his
some
skull
bones?
as a torch.
Do Marvel Zombies rules apply to this? And does the zombie start glowing?
Well, how long do you want to wait around until to see if he rises or not?
I don't want to wait around at all. I'm
No.
taking my machete back and cutting off his head.
Oh
Alright.
yeah, that's a really cool torch. That's like a unique artifact.
That's what
you
I'm
just
saying.
created.
I have a
Yeah.
glowing skull.
A unique relic or whatever. Yeah.
All right. So you are able to dispatch Glowbones. You're able to kind of give him
The Emperor's Mercy.
yes. I meant to say Foramen Magnum is what I meant to say.
Farina Magna. Okay.
How many people have I beheaded or otherwise obliterated their skull throughout
Well,
Wandering
you've-
Monster? By the way,
I mean, are you counting how many
Should have been
times you've done
keeping count.
Kevin's?
I also need you to count anytime you banged your head against a wall for having to deal with me. That's that
I
counts.
try to do it
Close that
off camera so I don't damage my mic.
down. That's fair.
Can't damage the goods.
Yeah, that's right.
All
So
right.
you have put Glowbones to rest, and
I just have to say something before we move on. At 2 points so far, I think, maybe 3, you've referred to this either the town we're headed toward or a particular like brothel district of it as Pleasure Town, and I wanted to say that sounds like the type of establishment that Guy Fieri would open in Nevada. And
It's pronounced Pleasurton.
Pleasurton.
because it was probably founded by the English. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
pleasure.
Pleasurton.
I love it. We're gonna make that the unofficial name of the city, and we're going to roll with it. Any actions you're wanting to do here before you keep going towards the town?
I mean,
Is there anything on the bodies?
Yeah, that's the first time someone's asked to loot a body. So I was,
Holy shit, he's right.
yeah, I was like every time you kill things, I'm
Wow.
like, no one's searching the body.
Yeah.
just
Go ahead.
Glowbones though? We only loot Glowbones.
Yeah.
You're able to get the
Well, the
machete.
hell with that. Let's see what all the bony things have, if anything.
Absolutely. Go ahead and 2 of you roll me D100.
Man, we're bad at this.
Actually have a D100. Can I please roll it? It
Yes.
never comes
Yes.
up.
I just want to point out that we're not bad at this. We've just been conditioned to playing one shots for so
That's
long that we
true.
forget about
Yeah.
things that like will have impact
That's
later.
true.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, D100. I've never had to use this one yet.
That, gentle listeners, is why this season is good for us. We're relearning how to play
Remembering
actual
how to
campaign.
play.
Yeah.
All right. So for 28 on the zombie that was chewing on Glowbones, there is a fine metal flask. It was in its pocket for so long that it's just fused with its skin. So it's almost made its own pocket to hold it. Who rolled the other D100?
I did. I got 63.
Okay. When you go through the pockets of the other zombie, it's easy to find because it's basically fallen apart. And in a wax sealed envelope, there is a letter, and the name on the outside. It's it's kind of blurred, but you can tell it's from a Bonnie Lass.
I'm gonna keep that for later.
Ew.
Glowbones had his machete, and he had a tin with some cigarettes and ash in it.
All right, JD Barker.
So we're doing the ash, right?
Who wants the ash? Someone wanted to take a bump?
Not me.
I calmed down Steamboat Williams, like, no, you don't need any more of that. Not after the last time.
How's your face feeling?
It's just burning a lot. Just be honest with you.
There's like bot flies that are just like been laying eggs in it.
You
I
look
mean,
great.
they're eating the infection, so that's a positive.
Nope,
Yeah.
those are maggots, but friend, botflies. That is not botflies.
Look
Okay.
up, dear viewer, if you want to hate yourself, look up botflies on YouTube.
Oh,
I have a
No.
better idea for them.
Find
They
a
should,
forum.
they should look up No Anesthetic, the extreme horror anthology, and read Tainted Love.
Yeah, John's botfly erotica. Would it be fair to call it?
I
Botfly
don't even want to know. Okay,
There's your next Twitter name, John. Botfly erotica.
so heading to the town, you so the first thing as you kind of regain your senses through this, and you have the glowing skull of glow bones, or glowing skull head of glow bones, is that this island has never been inhabited with the undead. In fact, when the Pleasure Town was, Pleasureton, if you will, was established, one of the first point of orders was to get rid of all of the really large, like predatory beasts and other hazards, so you could just be drunk off your ass and not have to worry about randomly getting killed by something in the undergrowth. So this is a change, and it maybe explains part of that ill tiding that you have had. That as things get closer and closer to the end times, that the infection of the world it's getting worse. The scourge is building. So as you begin to navigate back towards the town, you can see that various parts of the town have been on fire and are still smoldering. There is on the far side where the harbor is, there have been a handful of ships that look like they've been scuttled or destroyed or were on fire. There is absolute carnage here, as there is just scattered bodies that have been ripped apart in just an orgy of violence.
Cool.
In the far distance, you can see that there is some rolling fog that is receding past the kind of bay of this place, and you see again another sighting of that ship that you had seen when you were on Long Watch, kind of retreating.
We
You
missed our
see
ride.
more of those undead that's teeming along the surface of the deck.
Hmm.
There may be some ships that are still in salvageable condition. It just looks like whatever happened here, it happened hard and fast and took out most everyone here. It was a wholesale wanton slaughter.
Well, you guys want to get to looting?
Well, yeah, loot away.
yeah, I always love a good looting.
Mhm.
Yep.
Also, maybe see if there's an actual ship that we could
Yeah, that too.
use. But looting, yes.
Or a
Wh-
pipe. Or
Which one of us is best at
Flutes.
ship? Which one of us has boat as a skill?
Sorry, I didn't roll
I have a
boat.
boat.
Probably Spike out of anyone, though, because Spike, you have that ability for navigating. You would probably be a de facto captain of sorts, or at least the most skilled, I would
Well, I also have
Captain-
this thick armor. You know.
I would say that
Captain
Fastinus
Spike.
is the former naval officer, so he will at least be like, narratively at least, he would understand boats. But I don't have
And
any mechanical stuff for it.
Fluff Bucket was a first mate, if that counts for anything.
technically, Burnout was a mutineer who was captain for a short while until he himself was mutinied. So
Does not qualify you.
captain, but was captain at one point.
It's like people
We're pirates.
But when people are dropping credentials like, and then I got a BS from Harvard, I don't jump in with like, I went to college for 10 years and didn't even get a bachelor's. You know, like I don't think failed mutiny captain is really like on the old resume. there.
Successful mutiny, failed captain.
Failed captain, right? A better mutineer than a captain. We'll keep that filed away. That probably describes me, IRL me, very well. Better mutineer than a captain.
So there's a couple of things that you observe as you're kind of taking in the devastation of Pleasureton. The first thing is that from here, you don't see any immediate survivors. Maybe there might be people hiding out that maybe have escaped but everyone here seems like they have been freshly and very recently ripped open. And that lets you know that you have a very small window before these freshly killed corpses are they themselves going to rise. It's always a ticking clock when it comes to people who have been bitten and then die. They could rise in hours or up to 2 days later. It's a matter of how much you want to push your luck while looting. You can effectively loot a whole Pleasure's Town worth of stuff, weapons, items, gear, comestibles, and a ship. The longer you tally, the more chance you might have a whole mob of these zombies coming after you.
All right.
So what are your actions? We'll go with, what are your priorities?
I don't know. I would argue with the group that we should probably focus on getting a ship. Since once we have one of those, we basically have like a floating HQ and can acquire all the other stuff from people that we then descend upon. And I don't want to fight like a whole town full of undead, if possible.
Fastinus?
Is there somewhere in a Pleasureton that might have things like scrolls and rituals, a temple, or anything like that, that maybe Fastinus might go to and get equipped so that he can not just be an asshole during combat?
There are lots of weapons and items that you can get. Something like a ritual or relic might be a little harder to find, so we'll make that an actual kind of like dedicated search roll.
Okay.
There is decidedly, though, because it is a den of sin and vice, no church of any creed here, as every town and every brothel and ash den here is itself a chapel to depravity and the dark gods in their own right.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was wondering if, like, harbor area, pier, where are the ships docked, or did everyone row in?
So there is a dock for some of like the smaller ships. Larger ships were set out at anchor in the bay and have been rowed over. Those are the ones that seem to have taken the most damage. The ones that are closer to shore, some have just been looks like maybe ambushed or firebombed. So go ahead. Actually, so we'll do a couple of search rolls here real quickly. Fastinus, make me a presence check to start looking for relics and things that might be helpful. Okay, great. I will get to that in 1 second. And then also Burnout for a ship to find out which one's the most seaworthy. All right. So what did you get a nat 20? Is that what that face?
I got a nat 20 and I got the +2. So I got dirty 22, baby.
Fantastic. Then with that, I will let you choose if you'd rather have a relic or a ritual.
Rituals are just scroll spells, right? Mechanically speaking.
In essence, the difference is almost everyone but brutes can do them, and unlike a relic where you roll after you roll before you use it.
I think that I would prefer a ritual. I need like a combat spell.
Well, roll me d20. Let's see what you find.
I will. That is a 2.
All right. And what did you roll Burnout for searching for a ship?
Sure, I don't have any help. How does Devil's Luck work with searching? Can I just take a Devil's Luck and get max search?
Nope, it's either +4 or you reroll.
I would like to reroll.
All right.
That's marginally better. Just marginally. Okay. So is that with a modifier at all?
That would be with your presence.
Okay. Can I do strength? That's higher. I have a 6.
Okay. So as you are looking Fastinus, you are able to find your arcane ritual, and when you with a 2, you have rolled a Curse of the Drowned. So for D6 rounds, a creature gets +4 to all DRs and is -4 DR to defend against. So it's a very helpful bane.
Yeah, support
It's a good-
support spell.
Cool.
All right, so you were having a hard time, Burnout, finding a good ship that's seaworthy. The first thing that really catches your attention is a sloop that seems seaworthy called the Raven's Wrath.
I like the name.
Yeah.
It
And
seems
a sloop is what we were building anyway, so that's like I think the next thing up from a dinghy.
Okay.
What other actions are people wanting to prioritize? As you're looking around, the corpses are not stirring yet.
I would just I don't even think I need to roll for this unless you think I do, but I would just loot like probably a big old barrel of like rum from the tavern here.
Food. We haven't eaten since.
That
Right.
that was going to be
Fish,
yeah.
second on my list. That was going to be second.
Something with vitamin C, as you know, pirates and scurvy.
Then we'll do a montage where you're able to put a nice barrel of grog or maybe it's just, why don't you roll D6, and if it's 4 through 6, it's pure unadulterated rum. 1 through 3, it's grog.
Come on, 4 through 6. Oh, it's 3. We got grog, guys.
But it's a whole cask of it, and you find a
True.
wheel of cheese to go with it.
All
You're able to
right.
get other comestibles, some fresh fruits, some jerky, some hardtack, other things that either Fluff Bucket or Spike you're wanting to prioritize.
John, you should get a weapon while you're here.
Yeah, I
I
was
have
gonna
my machete again.
Yeah, get a ranged thing if you can.
Get a
If you
real
can-
weapon.
If you can find one. You
I
do
was
have a
gonna search
machete
for
again, though.
bullets.
Yeah.
You're able to find them. You're able to go to like a equipment, like it looks like an expedition type of store for restocking ships. Then you're able to replenish your gunpowder along with your shots.
Heck yeah.
In fact, you'd be able to have an extra 20 shots worth, if not more, that you could take with you. Fluff Bucket?
I was just going to be checking all the other wreckage, see if there's anything salvageable, possibly anything to sell at port, if there's anything worth it.
Absolutely. Why don't you and everyone else wants to actually, if you are allowing Paschke to do it, to roll D100 a couple more times?
Yeah, if you
Couple
want.
more times. That's almost like I have 2 D100s.
I figured this is major. You've probably bought that die years ago and not been able to use it, so I figured
Let those big balls roll, Pat.
you have
All
2
right.
of them. There we
Yeah.
go.
It's like I have 2 D100s because I had to get the metal one because reasons. That is a 63 and a 4.
So you have been looting for a while, and you notice that the corpses along the beach are beginning to twitch. You're hearing low moans that start on one side of the beach and beginning to swell. It's almost like the time where you've been in the Antilles and you've heard the infamous cicadas do their summer song. It's that, but it's the undead, and the sound is getting louder and louder.
Mm.
So you're noticing that they are beginning to rise, and that is a perfect time to figure out whether or not Raven's Wrath is actually as seaworthy as Burnout was hoping. But you've got your cask of grog, you have all of your extra black powder, your cask of tea, your cask of tobacco, and enough provisions to see you afloat for a while. So as you pile onto the ship and weigh anchor and get going, you can see just tons of undead spring to unlife yet again, pouring out of the brothels and states of undress, pouring out of the various ash dens and saloons. And you know that you got out of here by the skin of your teeth, which is also a great reminder to brush your teeth and have your limes to make sure you keep them in good condition. So you are able to get out safely in time and finally have a functioning ship. And even though that it's dark below, the head of Glowbone provides just enough gentle light that you're able to see when you go below decks.